Hello everyone, my name is Min and I am your dead DM. Today I'm going to be deconstructing these little lineless chibi drawings. These are made to match the style of my new animated outro. On quick glance, you may notice that the proportions and some of the outfits are based on Animal Crossing New Horizons. So let's get into that. As you can see here, I've imported screenshots from my Animal Crossing game, and here is a drawing based on the outfit. This is the drawing I built my animation puppet out of as well. Before getting started, I'm going to show you a breakdown of the shape language for drawing in this style, and the best way to learn that. The method I use tends to be a bit of a controversial topic, but stay with me through this. So as an animator, you learn to appreciate learning art styles from tracing. Tracing for the sake of deconstructing a body is a great way to practice and learn a new style. So here I'm going to show you my process of it, starting with creating a rough T-pose for study. I start by lowering the opacity of the image I'm studying. In Clip Studio Paint, there's a symmetry tool, which I'll be using to keep my sketch even as I construct the T-pose. You really want to figure out the shape of the head without hair. Rough eye placement, nose at the center of the face, ears, and I include eyebrows. After the face, you will want to rough out the torso. I do a rectangle for the chest, and then a separate rectangle for the shoulder and collarbone area. From there, I place the shoulder joints with a circle, and it gives me a rough idea of how shoulders should pivot. Animal Crossing arms are tubes with nubs at the end. I'm more interested in learning the teardrop shape of the sweater, so that's what I'll be roughing here instead. Almost all Animal Crossing long sleeve shirts have cuffs at the wrist, so I'm going to add little rectangles in for those, and of course the little nub hands. Then we move back to the body. Much like my personal project, All-Nighter Survival Guide, the Animal Crossing style utilizes what I call chicken nugget body. It's because it looks like a chicken nugget. There's nothing else to it. You can't see the hips in this outfit, but I'm going to rough some hips in so I can connect up the legs. The legs, like the arms, are also tubes with little feet on the end. And then this is what we're left with when we remove the reference. Next, we scale it up to fit the canvas better. Use the center middle or top middle point if you are using the symmetry tool, that way your project does not skew off of the symmetry tool. From here, I rough in possible clothing placement in red. I rough in a hairline, which would look natural, which is a helpful thing to know if you want to draw a character with hair pulled back, as well as possible eye shapes. Next, I work on re-roughing the arms. The T-pose is made up of fully extended arms. Since the character already has fully extended arms, it is a simple matter of drawing an arc up to my desired position for the new wrist. Happy with this position, I start roughing in the semi-teardrop shape that we learned how to draw, then include the rectangles and the hand nubs. Then you can erase out the old arms and start cleaning up the sketch. Thinking about it while making the original sketches of my finished illustrations, I forgot the new character design element of my character having pointed ears, so I figured I would sketch out pointy ears. I'm not going to make that fix long term, but next I sketch in the shape of some shorts, and then the boots. And there you go. This is a way to break down a style through rough tracing to learn how to draw it for yourself. The next important part of these illustrations is consistency. No matter the pose or the outfit, you can tell it's the same character. This is due to the features of the head and face. It's a technique that comes from my background in animation, but I've built a puppet head. If I open up this folder, I can show you I have a complete separate folder for the head. Inside this head folder, you can see separate pieces for each piece of hair, a hairline mask, different positions for the eyes. All of those things are already there. This is something I built for my new animated outro. Heads and faces are the most important thing for consistency. I learned about this in college when a professor brought up how companies like Titmouse use puppeting heads mixed with hand-drawn animation for bodies. Now, I'm doing a super dumbed-down version of this for these illustrations, but it's similar logic. If you want to make a series of similar drawings, I definitely recommend it, especially if you want to do lineless style drawings like these. It's very easy to make body parts fit together when you don't have to worry about line art. Next, having roughly learned the proportions of how I want to draw the character, you can start working on posing. Here's the previous finished piece I worked on, and I'm showing you the body sketch I made. Keeping consistency, you may want to keep your rough T-pose on a layer below to keep the proportions together. I'll be grabbing the next outfit I want my character in, which is this cute spooky sweater. If you have a reference for clothing you want, now would be a good time to put it on your screen before you start sketching. For the spooky sweater, I kind of want to give the character a spooky pose, mentally thinking about a character doing like a thriller zombie grabby hand pose. roughly 5 minutes later, and my sketch is done. I realized that it doesn't look like a spooky pose, since you can't make claws out of nub hands, so the zombie clawish feel is lost, but that's okay. I still love how the pose came out. It's time to place the head. For this particular piece, Min has a hat on, so after we get the head placed how we want, I merge all of the layers, lower the opacity, and start by erasing away the hair so that it looks like it's naturally fluffing out of the hat. Since we're on the head, I'm going to do the roll for the hat. I use the eyedropper to get the color I want, and then I start outlining the roll. Once you've filled it in, you can grab the accent color. Then with a new layer and a clipping mask, I start adding the white stripe details. That's the whole technique I use, tracing out the shapes from the sketch, and then adding in details as I go. Keep detailing on clipping mask and just feel out what looks right. Things to keep in mind is making sure, with shadows, that the body doesn't blob together. That's a really important part of lineless art, is making sure things feel distinct. So I add some shading to the arms, and draw on the little cuffs where the hand nubs will go. My hand nubs are also puppet pieces. I cut them out of my original Galaxy hoodie concept, and I've been using them in each piece. Then I just place them where they go. After this, the arms still weren't feeling separated for me, so I decided to add in backpack straps. I took the black from the mask and then edited the hue for a more bluish feel. This color will also be used for the shoes. Something you may notice is how the black of the backpack blends into the mask. In this context, a tangent is referring to how two aspects of art meet and make the image visually confusing. This is something I admittedly struggle with. In line art, it would be when aspects of line art meet and feel unnatural. In this case, since there's no line art, it would be defined as when similar colors of unrelated pieces meet and create visual oddities. A good way to check this is cross your eyes and see if the piece of your body stands out. I will simulate this with a quick blur on the screen. The way I remedied this is by adding pastel rainbow stripes. Blur again, and you can see the objects as separate entities. Then it's just a matter of shaping up the straps to my liking. For the legs, I wanted to add cute little rips in the pants. The way I did this is by adding a new clipping layer, and then drawing the skin color over the pants, duplicating the pants, merging the skin down onto the pants layer, and then moving that layer under the pants, and then erasing where the rips are. In hindsight, it would have been easier to just draw where the skin is using a clipping layer, but my brain loves to do things the hard way. I think my logic was, legs go in pants, right? Next are the shoes. Now the shoes are the same blue-black as the backpack straps. This time my remedy for this is to add a shade near the bottom of the pants. This separates out the boots themselves and adds depth. And that brings us to the end. I really enjoy how this piece came out. It took roughly 40 minutes to go from the pose to the finished lineless art. If you want to practice this, the breakdown study sketch from the beginning of the video is up on my Twitter. I'll link it down below. Please feel free to take it, trace it, draw over it, make your own characters, and if you do, please show me. Right now scrolling through should be other wonderful artists who tried it out for themselves. Thank you for taking the time to view this video. If you liked it, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you have a wonderful day.